Hey everybody, this is a, don't know what the hell that face was, but why not? This is a reflection piece on my psycho-spiritual journey that I feel like, it's been requested by a couple of you guys, so like people like Dr. Beast and another lovely lady. I'm forgetting your name right now, but thank you for having your input in the community. And ultimately, I think what this video will get for you, if I reflect on my experience as someone going on the psycho-spiritual path, is that it's nice to have reassurance that, what you're doing is actually an important and worthy goal to pursue, and to hear other people's stories can be incredibly reassuring, as it has been for me when I listen to people like my meditation teacher talk about their experience. And it's just nice to know, like, who is this person I'm listening to, that I'm investing my time into? Like, why am I, can I even validate them? Are they actually going to be able to genuinely provide value for me? And I get all that, and I understand that. And all I'm inclined to do is just share radically honestly and authentically about my experience, and you be the judge. Now, this is sort of like a follow-up video to the previous video that I did that may very well have been what brought you to my channel in the first place, and it's much more like unscripted, unfiltered. I spent a lot of time editing that previous one. This one's just raw, no BS, me telling you exactly how my experience has been, and take what you will, take any inspiration that you will. But I thought what might be helpful to start with, and just recap, is just a little bit of reflection on what led me to this path in the first place, because I find that to be very relatable. It's not to like bloat my ego or like play the victim, but it's just so you can contextualize and maybe find some relatability. So for me, life has pretty much always been difficult, especially from my teenage years onward. Never really having any overt trauma, other than, I guess, my parents leaving, separating when I was 8, which can definitely have an impact on the child's mind who is, and in my teenage years, as I was about 13 onward, there was a noticing of, I guess, like social awareness around needing to fit in, needing validation, and just feeling not quite right within my ego mind. The mind, as it developed, became very insecure. And while it overtly, while it took on this persona and managed to somehow, to hold itself together and actually become quite popular, by, even becoming a school captain in school and these sorts of things, being socially reinforced, this mask that I'd put on, that I'd learned to develop. Ultimately, internally, even though, I looked pretty good, I had like a good physique, I was into bodybuilding, I was quite popular as it appeared on the surface, but, underneath, it was all just a front. It was all just this amazing front that my ego had developed to basically validate itself, to feel love and to feel safety, was to be, like incongruent with my emotional experience, and to become incredibly mind identified in who I needed to be to please others, who I needed to be to please myself even. So I developed this strong persona, and but the cost of that was intense anxiety that long story short, ultimately precipitated me going and starting on this psycho-spiritual journey. Men's mental health, men's workshops, psycho-spiritual workshops, rites of passage, meditation, 10-day Vipassana meditation retreats, 3 of them, 2-hour daily meditation practice, and yada yada yada. I'll list all my accolades, all my spiritual accolades, but really the motive is just to feel good, like to feel okay in this human experience. Not to bloat my ego, but just to, give you some context as to what this has been like, to find relatability. And I finished up that last video, basically, I think it was like July 2021 that I concluded the narrative of my spiritual path that I've been on. And I basically ended up saying that life has now become the practice. It's no longer sitting just for like 2 hours, or like I'm limiting my meditation practice just to the cushion. It's more like practice enlightenment. I love that term, because at what point, if we're drawing a boundary between meditating, like I've got my little meditation period where I'm, sitting and inquiring into my experience, but then as soon as I get up and off the cushion, I'm no longer doing that, then to me, meditation, it's not really worth it, because what I care about is truth, is seeing through all of mind identification, the way that I had been relating in my mind to cause suffering, and seeing through subtler perceptual filters that contribute to suffering, and then showing up into the world and integrating that into the world to actualize or live out this fullest expression in whatever that looks like, whether it's horrible doubt, horrible shame, or absolute ecstatic bliss and joy and love, just to actualize and live an authentic human expression and see through at subtler levels that that's not really happening to anybody, and it's just like leaves blowing in the wind, this experience dancing, shimmering as 5 senses and thought, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling. I think I got that right that time. I always screw that up. And thought, you could add thought and, proprioception and all that, but that's what it is. It's like this constant deepening into the mystery of experience, where everything is an object of meditation. And life is my ultimate teacher. Everything is my teacher now, where if I'm talking to somebody and they're triggering the shit out of me, and I'm feeling incredibly anxious and, tense and feeling like I'm totally in my head, Sam's sense of self and all of the spiritual practices go out the window seemingly, right? Then it's like, what is that? Wow. What was that? Isn't that interesting how that happened? And inquiring and deepening and seeing and constantly being humbled by reality, right? Like I'm some sort of guru or something, or yeah, it's kind of funny. So people, I guess you can be curious as to what the long-term benefit of this work is, and things have shifted significantly, and relatively speaking, I think it's valuable to maybe say this to give you some sort of encouragement if you're in the thick of suffering, where life is really kicking your ass and you're on this spiritual path, you've taken the red pill and you can't, you're not going anywhere, and your mind's still giving you doubts like, should I even be doing this path? What's the right practice? What's this all about? And I'll just speak from my direct experience that things do get better. Going from suffering tremendously, having sat multiple meditation retreats and done all the, heaps of psychological work, like psychotherapy, seeing meditation teachers, etc., and still feeling like I was suffering and not understanding why. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Ultimately, that is the fuel that leads to deeper meditative inquiry, leads you into truth, makes you investigate your own experience at a very deep, fine-grained level and realize that no one's going to save me but me. and reality is going to wake up to itself, but no one's going to save me. Let's just say relatively, if I like, what, some teacher's going to come save you or something, you know. We can have these subconscious background beliefs that we can't do it, we're not enough. And a big movement for me, I think, in the past, since making that video, which I'll leave a card to up here, I always forget which way it is, but this one or this one, this side or this side, but that's been a big movement for me, is trusting myself, basically trusting my own intuition, my own experience, not leaning out and trying to find the person who's gonna fix me or save me, because it's all an internal jig. And you probably know that if you're watching this channel. It's all an internal game, which I didn't used to believe. I used to think that, you know, maybe subconsciously I need somebody to fix me, or like I'm never going to be able to get out of this view of the way that I'm relating to the world. So I guess as it relates to mental health benefits, you know, significant things have shifted, orienting in such a way that I'm constantly looking for perceptual overlays and mental filters that I'm putting on things, where like maybe I had a belief that I was unworthy. And I remember, like, if I put myself back into that, you know, 2 years ago, and I intoned to myself, like, I am capable of being successful in the workplace or something, my mind, even with all my meditation practice, would say things like, no way in hell, you know. And I would try and like put on this meditative persona that I'm a Vipassana meditator, and I can do anything, right? But still the mind and the body felt like it was incapable of doing these things, without actually doing the shadow work and the inquiry, which has been a huge part of the path for me recently. Relinquishing like long-held trauma and beliefs that I held about myself that were very sentinel and core to me, that I thought there was like no way in hell I'll ever be able to see through them. And it can happen. It does happen. If you look carefully and with an orientation of loving curiosity and acknowledgement that only you can save yourself. And you know, like, life really has been the ultimate teacher. I used to sit in my room and meditate and subconsciously convince myself that I was on this big spiritual quest, but I was actually abdicating responsibility, to where I now have a beautiful partner and a stepdaughter that trigger the shit out of me. Love you, sweetie. In beautiful ways that, you know, wake me up and open my heart in tremendous ways. And, you know, I'm sharing this spiritual quest with this beautiful woman, and we're both going deep into our shadow together. And that, you know, I never really wanted a partner. I never felt like I needed a partner, because I was always doing the internal game. But then, you know, opening myself up to intimacy, where I'd previously been so shut off from and scared of, frankly, has been like such a holy shit. Like, talk about shedding beliefs. Yeah. I'm reminded of the quote, if you think you're enlightened, spend a weekend with your family. It's sort of like that, but ongoing, you know. So if anyone's watching this video and you're in a relationship, you know how powerful it can be for psycho-spiritual work, or, yeah. Anyway, I won't keep this video too long. I just wanted to give a bit more of an authentic take on what this has been like for me. And life is, I feel much better. I think Dr. Beast, who recommended I make this video, who asked me to make this video, is like, put your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10 generally. I just like, I don't know, man. There's just such a heartful openness to reality that I can be a 1 one day, quote unquote 1, but there's still this like loving heartfeltness to it. And sometimes there's not. Sometimes I just want to jump out of my skin. But then other times it's just like, wow, I can actually live with an open heart. And you could say that's a 10, but I don't know. Things feel a lot better though. And there's a trusting in life as this practice unfolds to itself. And yeah, just on the ride. Just another dude on the ride. Yeehaw. Come on now. Alright guys, I'll leave it at that. Much love to you. I hope you found it relatable and helpful in some way. Yeah, drop more suggestions. I'm happy. I love seeing your guys' comments and suggestions and just takes on the video, and make sure you leave a like too. Maybe you'll like this video. YouTube seems to think you will. But otherwise, thank you so much. See you soon.